So there is 5 ways, really four, that you can be able to buy a house without getting any money down. And here's the truth. I want you to be aware of this for you. And even if you've already owned a home, I want you to listen to this because there's things that you can know that can help you to be able to invest or use your time wisely. And the truth of the matter is this: once we get in a position of ownership, you actually, number one, as I always tell you, is you're able to have a higher net worth. So the average person who owns a home, check this out, the average person who owns a home have a net worth of minimum $300,000. So it's some, I'm rounding it down, you can round it up. So what that means is if you own one home, that means you have the opportunity to have at very minimum $300,000. Now the person who rents has a average net worth of $10,000. So I want you to think about that because what we have to do is start learning, even if you own your own home, to put yourself in a position to have more than one because not only your net worth go up, but your options go up. And not only one is it a mindset to want to embrace staying in that and I want to break that myth in thinking that you have to have 20% down. And I'm going to talk about the multiple ways that you guys can be able to own a home. Now, number one, we have seller credits, VA loan, down payment assistance, uh, DPA, and they're different depending on FHA or the county or local you're in, and the FHA loan. So here's what I realize when it comes to people and their misunderstanding of ownership. They don't have the right information. And what happened when you don't have the right information is what? You put you and your family in a worse position. So I want to talk about, I want to talk about how some of these loan products work. And hopefully you can be able to message and say, hey, you know what? I'm curious to know this about myself because we take the time out to tour a lot of these homes, these sellers credits, and I think that's the one that I want to talk a lot about because people don't understand like how much seller credits can actually save you. So make sure you stay so that I can be able to highlight that. All right. But first thing I want to do is talk about USDA. Now, I want to talk about a story that I think is going to do a good job at highlighting this as well. But USDA is a rural development loan. And so what happens when you have a USDA is this help first time home buyers get in a home faster. So most people who like rural areas, if you like rural areas, meaning outside of cities. So if you look up Google, let's just look this up real quick. So if you look up Google right now and we say college station. If I can spell college station, Texas map. All right. So what happens is we get this map that comes up. Now, this map of College Station and Bryan, all this right here is what's considered in the city of Bryan College Station. So what happens? That means if you are right here on this line, let's just zoom in. If you're right here on this line, you are considered rural. So if I wanted to have a house over here, now, granted, for most people who are first-time home buyers, you do need to be able to find a house that is probably already built. I think cost-wise, it's a lot better for you. But when you're outside of these city limits, you're considered rural. So if we zoom out, this dotted area, uh-oh, This dotted area is rural, and outside of the dotted area, excuse me, outside of the dotted area is rural. So what that means is you are able to get into a house with zero money down on rural development. Okay. And what this also shows or tell you is this: if this is true, then I mean to becoming a homeowner is actually quicker than what you're allowed. Now, the minimum credit score generally for this is 620. And a lot of people think you have to have like a massively great credit score. And many of the areas in Bryan College Station does qualify. So the reason that I speak about this is because I don't like people believing the lie that they have to continue to rent, which gets me to our next point about the myth of needing 20% down. Now, listen, I've heard people always say, oh, I have to save for my money. I have to get X amount of money down. And I think the biggest mistake most people make when they're thinking about this myth of 20% down is you are thinking that if I save up enough for my closing costs for all these different things, it actually is hindering you because you're operating off of the wrong information. And when you're operating off the wrong information, then you are actually delaying the results that you could be able to have much sooner. And this also goes, um, and think about when you own a house, think about when you own a house, how much equity you have in the home. And oftentimes, if you stay in the house at least 10 years, which most of us does because when we own something, we are much more proud of it. You actually have more equity. And that equity, not only one, you can be able to sell that house, get a loan on that house, as we talked about last week. You can be able to take that money and use it for leverage to buy another house, right? And it's not that you need cash in hand. And I want you to get over that cash in hand mentality. Like when you think of like, oh man, I have to have 20% down. And I want you to think about this is that number one, if you have worked a job and you have a 401k, to buy a home is a qualification for you. Uh, the 401k you can use to help you qualify for a house. So you may have right now in your savings account, you may have everything that you need to be able to buy a home. So I do want to put that on your plate because the reality is this: if you have what you need now in the 401k, not only can it move you closer, but then guess what? That puts you and your family in a place of ownership. And um, now we didn't get a chance to do this, but I am going to highlight seller's credit. Okay. So seller's credit. Now, one of the ways that you can be able to buy a house is credit from the seller. So what do you mean, Jabari, when you say credit from the seller? So this is what I mean. If you are in a place where you don't have either all the money, you don't have all your closing costs, state of Texas allow you to be able to get up to 6% down. They allow you to do up to 6% in covering your mortgage. I'm sorry, closing costs. So I talked about a story where I talked about a story where somebody was in a place where they had something on their credit profile, and when they had it on the credit profile, it was not theirs. It was about $3,000, and so this exact amount was something they like. Hey, Jabbar, I don't want to pay for something that's not mine. I'm like, and that's fair. Most of us get in situations, people get a hold of our information, and what happened? I don't want to pay it, and so what we did, we took their I took that information, and this is why I always say book a time, consult with me so that I can be able to help guide you, or my team can help guide you on this accordingly. So when you have a seller credit, what that means is this: you are able, when done correctly, when done strategically. I say that, and I'm very mindful of that because some people don't realize, like when you have a good team, when you have a good agent, like a lot of these things can be done. But when you just, to be honest with you, using your cousin, using people who do it part time, they're not committed. And that's why I'm so big on like using people who are full time, who's in it and who's doing this full time, because it's our job to be able to navigate this space for you easier. Um, well, what we did was able to get him credits to lower his debt to income ratio, because based on the income you have, the debts that you have sometimes can be offset. So we use some of the sales credit to be able to have offset part of his debt so that he could be able to move forward. Now, this person waited 3 to 4 months, I mean, sorry, 3 to 4 years to be able to buy a house. And I remember when I asked him, like, hey, what took you so long to be able to buy a house? And he said, well, I had a lot of wrong information. And so just picture this is, if you were in a place where um, you had to take somebody word, take somebody advice when it comes to purchasing a home, and because of their wrong information, it made you to wait 3 to 4 years. Now, I got my chart somewhere around here. Let's see what happens. So let's say we wait 3 years. Now, on here it has a minimum of 5, right? So I don't have it, but you can see what happened. We wait 5 years and say you just continue to pay the same rent you've been paying. Well, what happened? That same rent I've been paying, I have to pay this much. And if, just if I just took the time out to consult with somebody to understand, hey, I heard somebody say that I can get seller's credit for me to cover my some of the money that I'm trying to save up, then as you can, and when you get with someone like us and our team, we can be able to assist you with that, because our main job is this. Our job is to be able to guide you accordingly and save you this headache that most people have to go over. So, um, and the other way is that when you are a brand new buyer, this is what I like. Here's a reason I like new build, because as a new builder, you're able to get a lot more incentives. Um, you're able to get a lot more incentives. And I'm going to share this with you. Made this one a little late, but here is some of the incentives you can get as a builder. So, not only one, many videos will cover your closing costs. Let's think about that for a second. Not only will they cover your closing costs, the interest rates are lower and they have incentive packages. So, you can be able to get, we have a client right now who is benefiting from this. They're able to get uh, their closing costs covered up to about 10,000, which is what we have there, 10,000. And the interest rate right now, the market interest rate. Let's just Google this. What is the market interest rate? Google, what is the market interest rate today? Okay. All right. I'm gonna share this with you. What does that say? Today, 6%, 6.21%. So you paying 2% higher on on um on a mortgage than you have to, because most builders will get you anywhere from 4 to 3%. Now, I'm not against using any lenders. I got a great lender over at Guarantee Mortgage, my man Jordan. We work very closely to make sure that we get people taken care of. But here's the thing. is we have to be aware of um, new. Sometimes this is why new construction is sometimes very easy to sell because you're in a better position later down the line. Just think about this: if you bought a house, oh, if you bought a house, if you bought a house, and let's say you don't know if you're going to have it in the next 5 years, would you buy that at a higher interest rate or a lower interest rate? Okay. And if you bought that house, and let's say that you decided that, hmm, I want to rent this out. Do you think in a new build area that that house is going to be more likely to be rented out? Here's my point. When you put yourself not only in a position to buy some of these homes as a new construction, it opened up more doors for you. So here's the point. I just want to end with this. It is several ways that you can be able to buy a home, and you don't need a lot of money down. So don't believe in the myth of this 20% logic, because here's the truth. I just showed you 4 ways on what you can do to be able to get into a house. And you know what? FHA was the last one I wanted to talk about because most people, when they hear FHA, and if you're a veteran, like it's no reason you should not have a house. You just need to find a house that's going to be a good fit for you. As a veteran, you've done well serving the country. Okay, and the country have that for you. But here's the thing: veterans, y'all, you get taken advantage of a lot. And every veteran I help, they ain't never put no money down. Hey, sometimes get money back at the closing. So FHA, and as a veteran, you can be able to access the minimum down payment of 3.5% of the sales price. Now, sometimes everyone's situation is different. So some people may say they want 3.5, they want 5%, but the truth of the matter is this: by owning, excuse me, not owning, but by going through this process, you will put yourself in a better position by not giving into the myth of 20% down, but then also you can get an ownership much sooner. So hopefully this helps. Share this with one person. I think that will be helpful who wants to take the time out to understand what are the options. And listen, until next time, to Cash Flow Friday, I appreciate you. So comment below, make sure you at least put this on your feed. It helps me when you share this with people because uh, my goal is to be able to continue to help 35 family members or more. And the only way I do that is that when you do the very simple thing and share. So if you came across and you got this here, make sure you get a chance to share this with friends and family members that you know that needs true guidance. And regardless of where you're at in your situation, we got a plan for you. So appreciate you.